Welcome to episode 30 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. In this episode, we explore one of the most powerful toolsets available to cybersecurity analysts: security information and event management, and security orchestration, automation, and response platforms. Together, these technologies provide the foundation for centralized visibility, efficient threat detection, and scalable incident response in modern enterprise environments. Whether correlating logs to detect advanced persistent threats or executing rapid containment actions through automated playbooks, SIEM and SOAR platforms are indispensable to analyst workflows. Understanding these tools, their architecture, and their implementation is vital for passing the CYSA Plus exam and becoming a highly effective analyst in the field. Let's begin by defining SIEM. A security information and event management system collects log data from multiple sources: network devices, servers, applications, endpoint detection tools, cloud infrastructure, and identity platforms. It then normalizes the data, correlates events, and produces actionable alerts. Analysts use SIEMs to detect patterns that would be difficult to see in isolation, such as login attempts from a foreign country, immediately followed by privilege escalation and file access. SIEMs allow analysts to pivot from one event to another, revealing relationships between actions that may seem benign individually, but together point to a coordinated attack. SIEM platforms offer several key capabilities. They aggregate logs in near real time, allowing for continuous visibility across the entire enterprise. Once logs are ingested, SIEM systems apply normalization, converting different log formats into a common schema that enables efficient search and correlation. This uniformity allows analysts to apply detection rules consistently across vendors and log sources. Analysts can search logs by keyword, filter by field values, or use regular expressions to uncover events of interest. SIEMs also support scheduled queries, dashboards, and custom alerts tailored to specific organizational concerns. Correlation is where SIEMs shine. Analysts write rules that define suspicious behavior by combining multiple events. For example, a rule may look for a failed login followed by a successful login from a new device, then an access request to a sensitive file share. When these events occur within a set time frame, the SIEM generates an alert. This correlation process is what enables detection of complex multi-stage attacks. Analysts must tune these rules carefully to avoid generating noise or missing important signals. On the CYSA Plus exam, expect to interpret correlation logic and determine which event sequences represent true threats. Popular SIEM solutions include Splunk Enterprise Security, IBM QRadar, ElasticStack, ArcSight, and LogRhythm. Each platform has its own features and interface, but the underlying principles remain consistent. Analysts should understand how these platforms ingest data, normalize fields, and support correlation logic. Splunk, for example, is known for its powerful search language and extensibility, while QRadar offers strong out-of-the-box correlation capability. ElasticStack is valued for its open-source flexibility, and ArcSight is known for enterprise scalability. You may be asked on the exam to select the most appropriate platform feature for a given scenario or to troubleshoot correlation failures. Correlation rules rely heavily on indicators of compromise and threat intelligence. Analysts enrich log data by integrating external threat feeds that include known bad IP addresses, domains, malware hashes, or attacker behavior patterns. This contextual information helps analysts prioritize alerts and identify threats that would otherwise go unnoticed. For example, a DNS query to a domain listed in a threat feed may elevate the severity of an alert related to endpoint behavior. The exam may include questions about threat feed integration or how enrichment affects SIEM alert generation. False positives are a major challenge in SIEM deployments. Analysts must tune correlation rules, refine field mappings, and apply filters to reduce unnecessary alerts. Too many false positives lead to alert fatigue and may cause true threats to be overlooked. This tuning process requires analysts to understand the context of alerts, validate patterns, and adjust thresholds over time. SIEMs support rule versioning, suppression logic, and exclusion lists to help manage this process. On the exam, You may be asked how to reduce alert fatigue or improve correlation accuracy within a SIEM environment. Visualization is another valuable SIEM function. Dashboards provide real-time summaries of activity across the environment. Common widgets include top sources of alerts, most active users, most queried domains, and time-based graphs of log volume. These visual tools help analysts spot trends, identify anomalies, and present findings to leadership. Dashboards are especially useful during investigations, allowing teams to see how an incident unfolded over time. You may encounter exam scenarios where a dashboard screenshot is provided, and you must interpret the visualized data. SIEMs also support in-depth investigations. Analysts can pivot from a single alert to related logs, uncovering timelines and understanding the full scope of an incident. For example, an alert about suspicious file access might lead to login events, IP address usage, and DNS queries associated with the same user. This process helps determine whether a security policy was violated, how the system was accessed, and whether other assets were affected. Expect questions on the exam that simulate an investigation and ask you to prioritize which logs to query based on an initial alert. Compliance is another major use case. Organizations use SIEM platforms to generate audit-ready reports demonstrating adherence to regulatory frameworks such as PCI, DSS, HIPAA, and GDPR. These reports include access logs, system change records, and incident summaries. Analysts must ensure log retention policies meet compliance timelines and that report templates are configured correctly. During the exam, you may be asked to identify which SIEM features support compliance efforts, or how to configure logging to meet audit requirements. In summary, SIEM platforms centralize and correlate data, empowering analysts to detect threats, investigate incidents, and support compliance efforts efficiently. Understanding how these systems ingest logs, normalize data, apply correlation logic, and generate alerts is critical for cybersecurity operations and CYSA Plus exam success. In the next half of this episode, we'll dive into SOAR platforms, exploring how automation enhances response workflows and reduces the burden on analysts during high-volume incidents. With a solid understanding of SIEM platforms, analysts must now turn their attention to the automation and orchestration side of the equation. Security orchestration, automation, and response platforms. SOAR solutions work in tandem with SIEMs by helping analysts automate workflows, accelerate response times, and coordinate actions across multiple security tools. As threats become more frequent and complex, manually investigating every alert becomes impossible. SOAR platforms empower analysts to respond consistently and efficiently, allowing them to focus on higher-level tasks. This portion of the episode will explain how SOAR platforms function, how they integrate with SIEM systems, and how they support both daily operations and long-term strategy. These topics are central to the CYSA Plus exam and reflect current industry practices. Let's begin by defining SOAR. Security orchestration, automation, and response platforms are designed to automate repetitive security operations tasks and streamline incident response workflows. They provide centralized dashboards, integrate with security tools, and support the creation of automated playbooks that guide and execute actions in response to security events. While SIEMs focus on detection and correlation, SOAR platforms focus on response, helping analysts investigate, contain, and remediate threats more efficiently. Together, SIEM and SOAR platforms create a powerful ecosystem for end-to-end security operations. SOAR platforms often ingest alerts directly from SIEM systems. When a SIEM identifies a suspicious pattern and raises an alert, the SOAR platform can automatically trigger a predefined workflow. This might involve querying threat intelligence databases, checking IP reputation, gathering related logs, and even performing containment actions such as disabling user accounts or isolating hosts. This automation speeds up response and reduces the workload on human analysts. The CYSA Plus exam may include questions on how SOAR and SIEM work together and what types of tasks should be automated for maximum efficiency. Popular SOAR platforms include Cortex SOAR, Splunk Phantom, IBM Resilient, and Swimlane. While each platform offers unique features, they all support integration with a wide range of security tools, from firewalls and endpoint protection to cloud services and threat intelligence platforms. Analysts must understand how these integrations are configured, how they facilitate data exchange, and how to test them for reliability. You might encounter exam questions that require evaluating the effectiveness of a SOAR integration or selecting which tools should be included in a response workflow. At the core of every SOAR platform is the concept of a playbook. Playbooks are structured workflows that define the steps taken when a particular event or alert is triggered. A playbook might include actions such as extracting indicators from an alert, enriching them with threat intelligence, searching logs for related activity, and notifying analysts or stakeholders. Playbooks can be fully automated or include human checkpoints for approval. Analysts build and modify playbooks based on use cases, organizational policies, and regulatory requirements. On the exam, expect to identify which steps should be included in a response playbook, or evaluate the effectiveness of a given response workflow. Customization is a key benefit of SOAR playbooks. No two organizations have identical environments or policies, so playbooks must be tailored to reflect specific tool sets, compliance needs, and incident types. Analysts frequently adjust playbooks to incorporate lessons learned from previous incidents or to account for new detection methods. They may also build playbooks that support complex threat scenarios, such as coordinated phishing campaigns or insider threats. A+ questions may ask how to customize playbooks based on incident severity or organizational structure. SOAR platforms also support centralized incident management. This includes case tracking, investigation documentation, communication records, and resolution steps. Analysts use SOAR dashboards to view open cases, track response metrics, and assign tasks to team members. This unified interface reduces confusion, supports collaboration, and ensures that incidents are addressed in a timely manner. Dashboards often include timelines, event summaries, and links to supporting data from other tools. You may be asked to interpret a SOAR dashboard or use incident data to determine the current status of a case on the exam. Another powerful feature of SOAR platforms is orchestration. Orchestration refers to the ability to coordinate actions across multiple systems. For example, if a phishing alert is triggered, the SOAR platform can automatically extract the sender's domain, block it on the email gateway, search for other messages from that domain, and isolate affected endpoints. These cross-penment actions create a coordinated defense that minimizes damage and response time. Analysts must understand how to build and test these orchestrations, ensuring that they are reliable and secure. The CYSA Plus exam may include questions about which orchestration steps are appropriate for given threat scenarios. Maintaining effective SOAR operations requires ongoing refinement. Analysts regularly review playbooks, update detection logic, and incorporate feedback from recent incidents. They also monitor system integrations to ensure that tools continue to communicate effectively. As new tools are introduced or threat landscapes change, SOAR configurations must evolve. Analysts should also assess whether certain manual steps can now be automated or whether additional context is needed for high-fidelity alerts. On the exam, you may be tested on identifying outdated playbook steps or selecting which updates would improve response accuracy. Testing and validation are critical to maintaining SOAR readiness. Analysts conduct regular tabletop exercises, red team simulations, and penetration tests to evaluate whether SOAR workflows respond correctly. This includes verifying that alerts trigger the appropriate playbooks, that integrations work as intended, and that notifications reach the right personnel. These exercises reveal gaps in logic, misconfigured tools, or missing permissions. They also provide an opportunity for team training and process refinement. The exam may include scenarios where SOAR workflows fail, and you'll need to identify the root cause or suggest improvements. Finally, SOAR platforms contribute to long-term strategic planning by generating metrics that guide resource allocation and program development. These metrics include mean time to detect, mean time to respond, playbook execution rates, false positive rates, and analyst workload distribution. By analyzing these insights, security teams can identify bottlenecks, adjust priorities, and measure the impact of process changes. These performance indicators also support reporting to leadership, enabling data-driven decisions about budget, staffing, and tool investment. You may encounter exam questions requiring interpretation of SOAR metrics or identification of key performance indicators for incident response. To conclude this episode, mastery of SIEM and SOAR platforms gives analysts the capabilities they need to detect, investigate, and respond to threats quickly and effectively. SIEM provides visibility and detection through log correlation and enrichment, while SOAR delivers the speed, consistency, and scalability necessary for modern incident response. These platforms work best when used together, forming the operational core of many security teams. As you prepare for the CYSA Plus exam, focus on understanding how these systems integrate, how workflows are created and refined, and how automation enhances efficiency and accuracy in cybersecurity operations. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.